Time now for weather with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. Al, February rolling right along. What's in store for the forecast this week?
Well, Troy, we've made it through the third full week of February, and this last week we've seen quite a variation in temperatures. 40s and 50s widespread this last weekend, giving way to cooler temperatures during the early part of the week, and then that sudden surge of Arctic air that came in Wednesday into Thursday morning. We've seen temperatures dropping to as low as 16 below at both Broken Bow and Wayne. In terms of snowfall accumulations, there was a pocket in central Nebraska between 4 and 6 inches reported by the Anti-Rain Network. And if we go in western Nebraska, between 1 and 2 inches was fairly common, although there were some isolated pockets a little bit more than that. Further east, we basically were in the half-inch range to 1.5 inches. Not much moisture with this snow, so it was a dry snow. And now we go into this weekend, and we're going to see some at least nice temperatures the first half before conditions start to deteriorate significantly across the southern half of the state as we get into late Sunday. So now we look at the upper air pattern for today, and we have this upper air low. We haven't had to deal with one of these out of the southwest for quite a while. That is expected to move into our region as we go through the weekend. So we have low pressure at the surface stacked up in the desert southwest, one in the Texas Panhandle. This one piece of energy moving out really won't have any moisture to work with, as the main core of precipitation will remain back into the southwest. But as we get into tomorrow, this low really starts to move quickly toward the east, and that's going to open up the Gulf and start to put some moisture up into the central plains with the surface low in south central Kansas. So we should start to see precipitation breaking out during the afternoon hours along the Kansas-Nebraska border, and then moving northward during the evening hours. And that trough by Monday will broaden out as the first piece of energy starts to move toward the eastern seaboard, with the low pressure system basically centered over central Illinois. That will create basically a comma on the backside with some accumulating snowfall potentially impacting southeastern Nebraska. And on Tuesday, the GFS keeps this system fairly deep. The main low pressure system at the surface move over to the southeast as high pressure starts to build in from our northwest. So we will see some flurry activity, but the main snowfall accumulations will remain over the central and eastern Corn Belt. And on Wednesday, this trough deepens, spilling that very Arctic cold air into the east of Nebraska. Here comes that high pressure system on the backside of this low. More importantly for us, we're going to start to see the highs from the west move into our region. So even though they're showing some scattering of flurry activity, I think it's probably overdone. Thursday, the ridge starts to build in. We got one more piece of energy that is coming down the front range of that front side of that ridge with low pressure over south central Canada. No moisture to work with. It's basically going to be more of a dry frontal boundary passage as most of the flurry activity remains to our east. And then as we get on the day on Friday, we start to see that ridge building into our region. All the cold air shifts into the eastern and central Corn Belt as high pressure starts to dominate much of the western United States. And we are looking at some very warm temperatures starting to build back in and return to the 40s and 50s, and maybe even warmer temperatures as we go into next weekend as the core of that high pressure starts to build toward the east. The 8 to 14 day forecast indicates the cold conditions to our southeast, basically associated with that low pressure system in terms of precipitation. With the high moving in, drier weather is in store.